Okay, so now we want to start making the image day for night. So if you go down to the bottom of your layers palette, left click on the adjustment layers, you have this whole host of different image manipulation tools. We're going to use a solid color. So it's going to come up. My default color was red, and basically you have a color picker and you can select the color tone that you like and the image will keep changing. So I'm just going to position it to a nighttime looking blue color. And now the layer mode is normal and the opacity is 100%, so we can't see our image below. But if I change it to multiply, you can see here we can finally see underneath our image. But probably too saturated and too dark, so we want to actually lessen the opacity. So maybe if I knock it down to let's say 70%. And then again, like we talked in class, if you left click into the color swatch, the color picker comes back up and then you can keep manipulating that tone. Click OK. So, and then now you can turn this on and off, and then again, now that everything's inside the MPaint group, you can click on and off for this. Now the other thing that we can do is go back to our adjustment layers and we'll actually use a curve. Now, a curve, like we've talked about, has multiple things that you can do with it. You have a bright point, and right now we're in the RGB mode, so you can brighten the image or darken the image by grabbing the black point. And you can see here by the slider, this is the black, and then over here is the white, and the high point is the brightest bright, and the bottom left is the darkest dark. Let me turn off the color fill so you can see. So if I just drag the curve down and lessen the brights, you can see the whole image just kind of drops down. And if I lift the darks, you can see, the darks, start to milk out. They start to get kind of gray. So you don't want to lift the value of your darks too much, but here you can see a little bit more detail in there. And then now if you left click into the RGB, you have your other channels. So you have the red channel, the green channel, and the blue channel. Now for nighttime, we would obviously want it to be more blue. So again, you can left click and drag it up, and you can drag it over and you can see how far the image actually separates if you really drag it. And it won't do any harm. This is just a single layer. You're not affecting the actual image itself. It's floating above. And then you can remanipulate. And now if you left click anywhere on the line, you can add more points. And again, if you left click and select that point, and if you drag off, you can see it deletes that point. So left click, drag off, it deletes the point. Left click, delete. And then basically you can just eyeball the manipulation of the channel for the curve that you're doing. And I can raise the darks, maybe even this out. You can go into some of the other channels, again left click and see what it does. So going left above this diagonal line increases the color of the channel that you are on, so I'm going to add green. And if I go below that diagonal line, I'm actually subtracting green. So if you subtract green, you're actually adding magenta. And the same thing happens in the red channel. So if you drag above the line, you're actually adding red. If you drag below, you're actually subtracting red. And then here in blue, we're adding blue. And if we go along that line, we're taking away blue, which in this case is adding yellow.